Today we will be learning how to solve and graph inequalities. Please copy down the standard benchmark indicator on a clean page in your math notebook. The student will solve and graph inequalities on a number line. Solving addition and subtraction equations. Solving an equation is like solving a puzzle. It means finding a value for the variable that makes the equation true. Using the properties of real numbers that you've learned, you can rearrange the terms of an equation and use inverse operations to help you find the value of the variable. But be careful. You can think of an equation like a balance scale. Whatever you do to one side of the scale, you must also do to the other side to keep it in balance. First, let's look at a simple addition equation. X plus 15 equals 30. To solve the equation, we must try to get the variable x alone on one side. We can use the inverse of adding 15, which is subtracting 15, to get x alone on the left side. Now we have x alone on the left side since 15 minus 15 is 0, but the scale is not in balance. To balance the scale, we must subtract 15 from the right side of the equation. So x plus 15 minus 15 gets us just x, and then 30 minus 15 gets us 15. So we find x equals 15. We can check the solution by substituting the value 15 for x in the original equation. When we evaluate for x equals 15, we get 30 equals 30, which is a true statement. We know our solution is correct. Now let's look at a subtraction equation, y minus 9 equals 3. To solve this equation, we must try to get the variable y alone on one side. We can use the inverse of subtracting 9, which is adding 9, to get y alone on the left side. Now we have y alone on the left side since negative 9 plus 9 is 0. That's plus 9 and minus 9 are the same, so they become 0. But the scale is not in balance. To balance the scale, we must also add 9 to the right side of the equation. Now we have y alone on the left side of the equation. 3 plus 9 is 12, so we find that y is 12. We can check the solution by substituting the value 12 for y in the original equation. When we evaluate for y equals 12, we get 3 equals 3, which is a true statement. Our solution is correct. Solving addition and subtraction equations. A number n decreased by 11 equals 14. What is n? So first thing we need to do is we need to write out n minus 11 equals 14. Now, to figure out n, we need to get it alone on its side of the equation. So to reverse subtraction, we're going to add 11 to both sides to keep our equation balanced. And then minus 11 plus 11 cancel each other out, so we get n by itself. And then 14 plus 11 is 25. So n equals 25. For number 2, Maria spent $15 at a restaurant for dinner for herself and a friend. The bill came to $11.75 and tax was 83 cents. How much tip did she leave? Write an equation and solve it. Let t represent the amount of the tip. So first thing we're going to do is write the equation. So $11.75 plus 83 cents plus the tip equals $15. So the first thing we need to do is combine $11.75 and 83 cents. So we need to get that all together as one number. When we add $11.75 and 83 cents, we get $12.58. So now we have $12.58 plus t equals 15. So now we need to get t by itself. And because addition is commutative, we can change the order. So we're going to reverse the order of the t and the $12.58 to make it easier to work with this equation. Now we're going to subtract $12.58 from both sides to get t by itself. So when we subtract $12.58 from $12.58, it cancels itself and t is by itself. Then we subtract $12.58 from $15 and we get the tip was $2.42. That way we've shown all our work and shown how to find the tip. Now we're going to apply those same skills to solving inequalities. Because they're just a different type of number sentence, we can use the same strategy to get the variable by itself, because we have to do that before you can graph each inequality. So for number 1, we have 21 is less than x minus 13. So we need to get x by itself. So we're going to add 13 to both sides. Then minus 13 and plus 13 cancel each other out, and then 21 plus 13 is 34. So 34 is less than x. Then you can draw your little number line and graph it. And we know x is greater than 34, so the arrow goes to the right, and it's not equal to, so we have an open circle when we graph it. For number 2, we have x plus 3 is less than 4. So to get x by itself, we have to reverse the addition and subtract 3 on both sides. Which then tells us x is less than 1. So now we draw our little graph, and we're going to graph that. And because x is less than 1, the arrow goes to the left, and because it's not equal to, the circle is open. For 3, we have n minus 8 is less than or equal to 2. So to get n by itself, we're going to add 8 to both sides. So now we have n is less than or equal to 10. So now we're going to draw the number line and graph it. Because n is less than 10, the arrow goes to the left, and because it could possibly be equal to 10, we fill in the circle. For 4, we have y minus 16 is greater than 10. To get rid of the minus 16, we're going to add 16 to both sides. So that gives us y is greater than 26. So now we're going to draw our number line and graph it. Y is greater than 26, so the arrow goes to the right, and it's not equal to, so we have an open circle. For 5, we have 3 is greater than or equal to x minus 2. To get x by itself, we need to cancel out the subtraction, so we're going to add 2 on both sides. So now we have 5 is greater than or equal to x. or it can also be read x is less than or equal to 5. So now we're going to graph it. And because x is less than 5, the arrow goes to the left. Because it could possibly be equal to 5, the circle is filled in. Finally, number 6, we have x minus 12 is greater than 4. So to get rid of the minus 12 and get x by itself, we're going to add 12 on both sides. So then we get x is greater than 16. So now we're going to draw our number line and graph it. Because x is greater than 16, the arrow goes to the right, and because it's not equal to, it's an open circle. Please make sure you have all of the work copied down and glue these pages in your math notebook.